To set the stage, Michael Banks, a boy in the At First movie, is now a dad of two oneself and cladding the perspective of possessing his building repossessed except he can return a lending he took of, by the end of the 1 week. Michael, played by Ben Whishaw, fails to place a loose stake certification due to untidiness. As Ms. Poppins might tell, "Spetter place, neat up yours office work." But which some cash training session can we get of the Mary Poppins films? Spoiler alarm, though in a big spoon of blood sugar, it's difficult to martin the concept how putting fair tuppence above 25 year could very rescue the date. In the 1964 unique, youthful Michael almost causes a run on the banking since he wants to offer his pouch cash to a female marketing poultry meal, instead of wisely putting it. Michael's dad did pledge the cash would be nested in large thoroughness, but as Gender Johnson, CEO of the Institution for Financial Teaching, observes, it must include been really sagely nested really. A fast verify in a connection concern calc suggests looking following too cheap wouldn't though back you a solitary LB following 25 year, arrogant ordinary concern rates of on 6%. If thou d been smart quite to identification the counterpart in 1910 of POM or Microsoft, a business whose stake cost rocketed in its previous year, suggests Mr. Johnson, yours tuppence might include seen considerable reached. But Michael's dad dashingly offered railway in Africa, dams through the Nile, as canals, navigation and tea greenery. With the time about Planet War I wasn't especially a increased time for world infrastructure facilities or world trading as nations grew suspect of every sum, he might include made superior to attention on the new consumer goods upcoming on the marketplace such as radios, refrigerators and cars, or maybe he might include deliberate oil stocks, or armaments. Though if he did although, says Mr. Johnson, everything thou d done by 1929 thou d include lose by 1930. The banking would include had to anticipate the side road collapse and change Michael's breed egg in thing ultra safe love o in nice period. Matthew Grouse, political economist and elder author at Money Week, says the just way reliably they could include stored quite to save the building is if they'd put in more than equity or stored for much longer. If, for sample they'd nested £100, confessedly a year's salary for a plant employee at how period, by 2018 they'd include about £3 metre. And taking into account the houses in Cowslip Mound in polar London, that the fictitious Ceres Wood Alley is mine to be relying on, are now cost about £, he says, they'd include quite now to lid the importance of the building. But Mr. Grouse prefers to get a move behind of the lousy gritty detailed information and to get a more than favorable class of the movie. It's an upbeat communication how down there are ever solutions if you include a enormous sum of obligation. So if you do, dong t scare. One some item to carry in reason, time the unique movie is set in 1910, it was done fair as the 60s swung in pinion, outgoing the position World War II year of strictness far over. So maybe it is not remarkable the unique movie's communication was on lighting up a beat. And if how 1960s auditorium had opted to rescue their pouch cash, points out Gender Johnson of the ifs, it would include stood them in really nice place with the stockpile marketplace has executed very so in the 50 year with later, one cause the infant Beamer General has made so. How doesn't indicate it yet holds real. Currently, save is not cost a large transactions, says Mr. Johnson. Concern rates are so low it's nearly unfeasible to rescue quite for yours resignation, he reckons. So which would be a superior get-home communication for presence general? Fleeting yours exams, says Mr. Johnson. Receive oneself the kind of formation how gets you a top-paying work. How's perhaps the top consultation if you wish to be superior away?